Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Joe the Great. Welcome back to another Naruto reaction video here today. And as many of you know, like I said in the previous one, I asked y'all yourselves what you guys wanted to see, and y'all have spoken, so y'all shall receive. And as you can tell by the title, one of the videos you guys wanted was 5 more broken Naruto Jutsu by the great Swagkage. You guys mess with those, top 5 lists, and so do I. There's a plethora of Jutsu out there in the Naruto verse. Many legendary Jutsus. I mean, you name them, man. There's many ones. So many. You can't even name them. There's too many to list. But we're going to watch Swagkage give us another 5 more broken Jutsu. So I'm excited for this one. But before we begin, if you enjoy, any love is greatly appreciated. Hit that like button, turn on all bell notifications stay up to do with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy, man, maybe it's your first time here, or you've been on and off, but you mess with the kid, please hit that sub button, man, because once you're part of the family forever, and it is growing, and I love you all for that. Let's not waste any more time. Screen. Let's see what Swag has to say here.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Swagkage
here,
and welcome to today's video. So, one of the most popular videos on my channel, and this has basically been the case since I first uploaded it, is a video I made a few years back talking about really busted.
So check that out, guys. I reacted to that one as well.
Personally, I don't think it's
shout out to Swag for that one.
I've gotten a lot better at making videos since then, but nonetheless, a lot of people have been asking for a sequel to it for a really long time. Now, fortunately for everybody who was a fan of the first video, Naruto has no shortage of stupid, wacky nonsense, and so it wasn't hard for me to track down 5 more jutsu that I think
that one was crazy,
absolutely ridiculous. Maybe not to the same extent as the ones I mentioned in the first video, but for one reason or another, they're all still pretty crazy.
Let's check it out. Number 5. Lightning release chakra mode. Oh man, it's pretty OP stuff.
Some of you may be a bit surprised that this is on the list. Maybe you associate the jutsu with the 4th Raikage and don't remember the 3rd all that well, but the 3rd Raikage is who we're going to be focusing on here, because this is sort of a Yamato Hashirama situation, though it's not quite as extreme, where we're introduced to a technique through one person, and then we later find out that there's a dead person who is way better at using the technique than the first person was. And now, to be totally fair, it's still a pretty scary jutsu in the hands of the 4th Raikage, but I only think it's worth putting on this list because of what we know the 3rd Raikage could do with it. So to briefly explain how the jutsu works, a user conducts electricity through their body, and this increases their speed, allows them to hit harder, and it creates an aura of lightning release chakra around their body that acts as a shield. A few of you may be wondering why I didn't mention any drawbacks, and that's because, there aren't any. This jutsu boosts your strength, your speed, and your defense, your 3 most important physical attributes, without negatively impacting any of them. And it would be one thing if these boosts were minor, but they're not. They're not at all. As a matter of fact, they're pretty fucking enormous. I know I don't need to tell anybody this, but both the 3rd and the 4th Raikage are really fast, and they're also known for hitting extremely hard. According to Darui, nobody before Sasuke had survived the 4th Raikage's Liger Bomb, and he's significantly weaker than the 3rd Raikage.
Right.
This guy, on the other hand, is able to kill multiple people at the same time with just a jab. Like, look at this. This was the result of him dashing forward and just poking somebody. This is ridiculous.
Like
the thing that gets me the most about this,
I said before, this guy's a demigod, man. Demigod.
So that nobody's going to be able to hit you.
He's a monster.
Even if they do, your attacks are so strong and so devastating that you're probably going to be able to kill them anyway before they can do any serious damage to you. But for some reason, the 3rd Raikage thought to himself, hey, you know what this jutsu's missing? It's not an indestructible shield yet. And when I say indestructible, I don't mean really hard to penetrate. I mean, you are absolutely 100% never breaking through this shield unless you have like 6 pads powers or something.
Right.
And if you think I'm exaggerating, lightning's natural elemental weakness is wind. And so you'd think that a wind release jutsu, at least a strong enough one, would be able to crack through the shield, right? Well, no. Tamari and a bunch of other wind release users
didn't do nothing to him.
Big old wind blast straight at the 3rd Raikage, and he just stood there and it didn't affect him. Then Naruto showed up, and the first thing he did was throw a Rasen Shuriken at this guy, and he dodged it twice. And then Naruto finally manages to line it up so that it smashes into him, and it doesn't do anything anyway. So even if by some miracle you're able to hit him while he's whizzing around the battlefield at lightning speed, it doesn't matter. It's probably not even gonna scratch him. It's not even like it takes a toll on his stamina either, because he was able to fight 10,000 ninja by himself for 3 days straight before finally collapsing and dying. I imagine he didn't have any food or water either. 10,000 angry enemy ninja probably wouldn't let him stop to eat a sandwich or whatever, so it certainly doesn't tire him out. Like I said, it feels like the jutsu has no drawbacks.
It's insane, man. He's insanely powerful. I mean, that's an amazing, amazing jutsu. Number 4. Dust Release, Particle Style. Oh, that's a pretty cool jutsu. I like it a lot.
I know I'm kind of cheating here like I did when I put Wood Release as a whole on the last list, but to be fair, we don't really see that many Particle Style jutsu in the series. As a matter of fact, I think we only see 2, and both of them are basically the same thing. But anyway, my reasons for thinking it's just a little bit overboard should be pretty self-explanatory. You just shouldn't be able to fire a gigantic laser beam that can atomize anything it touches. Why Inoki ever felt like he needed to hire the Akatsuki when he could just do this, it's a bit of a mystery to me. I know we never saw it used for anything significant aside from Inoki nearly killing Sasuke with it, but that's not really his fault. He was introduced right before the war arc, so aside from, again, Sasuke, all of his opponents were regenerating zombies who got progressively more powerful. He had to fight members of the Akatsuki, former Kage, including another user of Particle Style, and then finally Madara Uchiha. So I think it's safe to say that the circumstances weren't exactly ideal for him to make the best use of this nature transformation, and had we been given the opportunity to see him fight regular people, he probably would have steamrolled them. Like, all he has to do is make this box of chakra around them, and then just like that, they cease to exist. There's no setup required or anything. It's as simple as that.
Oh, we can already tell what this is. Number 3. The 8 Inner Gates, man. That's one of the best in my opinion.
So you can maybe argue that the 8 gates are more fair than the last 2 entries, because to get the most out of them, you have to kill yourself. And even if you're not opening all 8 of them, opening any of them comes with some pretty serious risks. But that said, opening the 8 gates is basically all Guy knows how to do, and he's a fucking badass. Also, even though opening the 8th gate is an act of suicide, well, first of all, if you happen to have anybody who can perform miracles on the fly nearby, like Naruto, for example, then you're fine. But more importantly, the price of death does not make up for the gargantuan power boost you receive. When Guy opened the 8th gate, he was able to do nearly lethal damage to Madara, and Madara had Yin Yang Release, Wood Release, and the Rinnegan. And now granted, Guy was only able to do so well against him because he had the assistance of Minato, Kakashi, and Rock Lee. But even with the help of all 3 of these people, nobody else would have been able to do nearly as well against Madara as Guy did. Before him, Obito was tearing the entire allied shinobi forces apart. So the fact that Guy stood even a teensy, itsy-bitsy chance against Madara here is pretty impressive. Also, I'd like to repeat that this is the only thing Guy knows how to do. He can't do anything aside from open the 8 gates and punch and kick really hard. So if you gave the ability to open the 8 gates to anybody like Madara or Hashirama or even like Sakura or Tsunade, you'd have a pretty serious problem on your hands. If Naruto ever learned how to do it, then it'd be game over for anybody who tries to fight him. Could you imagine 2,000 6-pad Sage Mode Kurama Avatar 8th gate open Naruto?
That would be bonkers.
That sounds horrifying.
GG to anybody in the planet. Even more so than already with Naruto's ability. Number 2. Sage Mode. Oh man. Definitely.
So Sage Mode is like the 8 gates, but without any of the drawbacks. Granted, the buffs provided by it aren't quite as substantial as the ones provided by, like, opening the 7th and 8th gate, but just like what it did for Kabuto. If you would have told me this guy would go on to become a major antagonist, I would have no reason to believe you. As a matter of fact, I would probably never talk to you again. But somehow, he went from this to this. Before mastering Sage Mode, he was so flimsy that Naruto literally shouted at him and sent him flying across a bridge. Then after mastering Sage Mode, he was able to tussle with Sasuke and Itachi at the same time while blind, and almost beat them a couple times throughout the fight. As a matter of fact, Sage Mode is so great that Orochimaru created a crappy bootleg version of it, called it the Curse Mark, and it still ended up being one of the most valuable tools in the arsenal of anybody who could use it. Actually, Swag, you have to leave yourself open for a really long time to enter Sage Mode, because you have to gather natural energy. It's not that easy. See, Minato would like to have a word with you, because he's like,
I remember that.
I suck at Sage Mode. I'm just really bad at it. That's why I never use it. And then, like, he just goes. Also in the war, when Naruto figures out that he can stack it on top of KCM, he's like, oh sweet, let's try it out. And he doesn't have to go off in the corner and go gather natural energy or whatever. Just like Minato, he's just like, alright, that's it.
That was awesome. Yeah, I agree completely. Number 1, let's see what we got here. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. I mean, how can you not put on the list, right?
Jutsu might be the dumbest thing in the whole entire series.
That's
Maybe
insane.
It's not as ridiculous as the Sharingan, but then again, the Sharingan doesn't let you clone yourself 2,000 times. And that's my biggest thing with this jutsu. The regular Shadow Clone Jutsu that lets you make about a dozen at most, that's one thing, but the multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu, like, 2,000? Are you serious? Why do you need that many? Why
That's
is the
insane.
number that high? Even setting that aside, there are so many other applications for this jutsu. It can be used to significantly accelerate the process of training, and
Yep.
like I mean by a lot. Naruto
Very cool
was able
ability.
to
Very
complete
cool.
multiple
Very cool.
years worth of training in the span of a few days, maybe a week at most, because of the way shadow clones work. That's dumb. That's not even a
isn't.
little bit fair. That shouldn't be possible.
Yeah,
but apparently
I agree.
it is. I guess Naruto could just like walk into the Hidden Leaf's library, pick up the scrolls for every jutsu there, and within
Learn
like
in, like,
or
a
two,
year,
he'd be a
yeah.
master of all of them.
Yeah,
He
I
was
didn't
also
think of that.
able
He's
to have
right.
his clones gather
insane.
natural energy for him while he was fighting pain, so he could like constantly refill his sage mode meter without really having to do anything. Then of course there's the fact that he basically fought the fourth war by himself. He fought multiple Kage level opponents who were all
Yeah.
spread out across the world at the same time, and he was able to do this all thanks to the shadow clone jutsu. For some reason, his shadow clones could also create their own shadow clones, which really wasn't necessary. Kishimoto, you didn't have to let him do that. He was already really strong, and he would have been fine without clones that could make their own clones, and those clones could probably also make clones of their own.
insane,
By the
man.
end of the series, one of Naruto's shadow clones could probably wipe out all life on Earth aside from Sasuke by itself.
Yeah,
And even
yeah,
if that's
I agree.
not the case, he'd still have 1,999 of them sitting on the sidelines.
Insane. Insane. That was a good video right there, man. Very good video, and I like it. It was just quick and to the point. Now let's speak on these jutsus real quick, man. So all of them are legendary. All right, truly broken. Let's talk about the first one, lightning release. All right. Now, to be quite honest, I have recently just started to realize how powerful the third rate Kage really is. All right. This guy's a god, man. I mean, you can't. It's almost impossible unless you're god tier shinobi, like six path amplification Naruto or Sasuke. Um, you can't hurt the guy. He's godly. I mean, he took down 10,000 shinobi, and he fought for 3 days. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Right. Um, he's durable as ever, powerful as ever, quick as ever. I mean, it's like the chakra, the chakra styles weaknesses don't apply to him. You shoot all the wind you want on him, it won't even affect him. It won't do nothing to him. We saw that. A ton of wind style users didn't do nothing to him. He just stood there like he was just going for a walk, for a stroll. It was nothing. And then he gets hit by Naruto's Rasen Shuriken. Didn't lay a scratch on him. I mean, this guy's something else, man. So that was amazing. So we also had, what we had, all right, let's go. So I don't even forget here. We had multi-shadow clone jutsu. We had sage mode. We had eight inner gates. Particle style, excuse me. I already forgot. I have horrible memory. But particle style. Now that is pretty cool because you're basically de-atomizing people. It's like you're erasing them from existence. Very, very interesting jutsu. I kind of wish we saw more of it, but then again, it would just obliterate anyone in its path. Onuki, having the ability to use dust release particle style, it's quite interesting and very, very, very cool to see. So that one was cool. I don't know much to say on it. We don't really get to see much of it, unfortunately. But next up, 8 inner gates, and to me, it's one of the best displays of jutsu I've ever seen. Seeing Might Guy going 8 inner gates and was temporarily a god. Honestly, he was a god. I mean, he hurt Madara. Of course, he had help, but he hurt Madara in ways that no one else could until Sasuke and Naruto got 6-pass amplifications. It's truly remarkable. I mean, this guy, that's all he could do, and just look at what he's capable of. Yes, it's basically suicide, but still, quite amazing. Quite amazing. He can go toe to toe with anyone that isn't god tier. He can go toe to toe with anybody, for sure. Now next up, it was Sage Mode. All right. Now Sage Mode had one of the coolest introductions, especially to me, when Naruto fought Pain. That was truly spectacular to witness. One of the best anime moments to me in all history. He was just wrecking the 6-pass of Pains, left and right, one punch. This shows the utter power that Sage Mode can provide. And then later on, we realize you don't even need the time to gather nature energy. You see Minato instantly go into Sage mode. I'm pretty sure Hashirama instantly Sage mode, and then Naruto later on in the series instantly in Sage mode. Like, it's truly remarkable to see. It gives you quite the amplification and strength, durability, everything. It's amplification of your abilities. It's truly, truly amazing. Now, last up, multi-shadow clone jutsu. All right. Now that, I mean, this is getting cooler than that. You can learn quicker. You could have backup. You could know what the other people see when you undo the jutsu. Like, it's amazing. You know, it's an amazing jutsu, and it's Naruto's signature. It's his signature jutsu. And thanks to that, he became what he is now, an Okage level god tier shinobi. Through all these years of training and through all the Shadow Clone Jutsu, uses, it accelerated his progression greatly. I mean, saved years of time with that. I mean, it's amazing, truly. But yeah, guys, this was a great video. I actually very, very highly enjoyed it. Let me know what some of your favorite jutsus are that maybe should have been on this list or others. I've done the other ones as well. If you want to check those out, I have a playlist in my channel. I've done top 5 Naruto jutsu and top 5 broken Naruto abilities both by Swag. So if you want to check that out, it's in the playlists. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any recommendations in the comments. If you want to talk to me, contact me. My links to my social media are in the description and also in the outro. But yeah, guys, I love you all, and once again, thank you for all the support. Make sure to hit that sub button if you mess with the kid, because we are going up. We're a family around here, and we just thoroughly enjoy this stuff, and I thoroughly enjoy just watching this with y'all. I feel like I'm with y'all when I'm doing this, So I love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. It's J3 signing out. Peace.